Yog Vashisht, the secrets of achieving the goal of yoga gifted to mankind in a systematic form, proper form, in a way of Shastra by the enlightened master Maharishi Vashisht. There is different names you may sometime come across for the masters. Sometime we call them sadhu. This is number one, sadhu, yogi, one who is on the path of yoga, following yoga. Mahayogi, the one who has mastered the yoga. Rishi, the one who has realized the truth. Maharishi, Maharishi, the one who has realized the truth and is capable of guiding others on the path of self-realization. Here we have Maharishi Vashisht. So he is realized master and is capable of guiding others on the path of self-realization. So in this powerful scripture, Yoga Vashisht, there may be some spellings, different spellings are there in English, but in this powerful scripture, it starts on mainly on the Jnana Yoga part plus Karma Yoga. It is there. So how the story starts, today we will be talking of the beginning, how it started, how it came that 32,000 shlokas, how it started. So here is chapter 1 on your screen. In Sanskrit, they say Pahila Sarga, the first chapter. What it talks about, it is the beginning for the purification of society and dialogues for liberation. That is chapter 1. And it is a very beautiful tradition in yogic science that whenever you are starting any auspicious work, good work, prayer is the beginning. And without prayer, no work is accomplished, or no goal is accomplished, or no target is completed. So starting point is the prayer. Prayer, I explained before, prayer means total surrender, unconditional surrender with full trust, without any expectation by the individual Atma. To whom? To Paramatma. Now here, the first prayer in this shloka, it starts with the prayer to the Supreme Brahmananda, who is the only power provider. You can see in the point number 1, who is the power provider to Gyata, Gye, Gyan. 3 words are here. So you can see Gyata means the knower, and Gye means known, Gyan means knowledge. Similarly, Drashta means seer, Drashya means seen, Darshan means seeing. Then another thing is this Karta means the doer, or who is doing the action, activity and action. The process of activity, Hetu, process of activity. So these 3 things are happening in the whole world: known, knowledge, seer. Or other way you can also add here the observer, observation, and the object. Without these 3, the entire nature is incomplete. So you can see these 3, first you have to understand how these 3 are operating. The only power through which all these 3 are operating. Normally in average life of a person, we are living our life on the object, or on the drashya, on the scene, or on the just action. Like now, you become a big person, you become a successful person, you are sad, you are bad, you are good. So these are all the Vishaya object. We forget about the observer, that who is the observer. So here, the prayer started with bowing down to the Supreme And what is the nature of the Supreme? Brahma Ananda. Now here is a one word here. On the first line you can see here, Brahma Ananda, I am highlighting it. Ananda you all know. But Brahma Ananda, that is the supreme consciousness full of the bliss. So we bow down to the supreme consciousness full of the bliss, full surrender. Now, what is the benefit of going down? What is the benefit of prayer? It is just expression of our gratitude, profound thankfulness. Brahmananda doesn't know that you are expressing your gratitude. But when you express your gratitude, you get connected like a frequency I explained last time. So match your individual frequency with the universal Brahmananda frequency. So you start receiving the Brahmananda waves in you. So once it is done, after that now the scripture started beautifully. There was a Brahmin. Brahmin means the noble person, knowledgeable person named Sutikshan. You can see in the number 2. He went to Maharishi Agastya. I try to explain you the difference between Rishi and Maharishi. So here is the another name of one Maharishi, Agastya. So it is very famous. He had many powers and a great yogi. So Sutikshan went to Maharishi Agastya for getting the knowledge. He went straight away to Maharishi and put 3 things. Liberation is attained through karma or jnana or both. Now these 3 questions he put. He asked very clearly, please tell me very clearly, what is the way I can attain liberation? Through karma? We say you are doing action, you say no, I am doing action, I am now studying, so I should attain the liberation. So this was the question of Sutikshna. Or you say no, you don't do nothing, you just have the knowledge and you will be liberated. Or the third question, what Sutikshan asked Maharishi Agastya, or karma or jnana both? Then the answer here, you can see the shloka. What is this shloka in Sanskrit is beautifully explaining here. I'm just highlighting the shloka in English. Ubhyam eva pakshabhyam yathakhe pakshinagatiha. Now here, Maharishi Agastya replied that as a bird is flying in the sky freely, crossing all the winds, and bird needs 2 wings. Without 2 wings, bird cannot cross the big sky. So what is to be done? 2 wings are needed for flying freely. Unmukt, there is a word, unmukt means freedom. So similarly, for liberation, for moksha, for mukti, one need both karma and jnana. This is what he explained to Brahmin Sutikshan. So then he gave one story. See, this is the beauty of this whole scripture. There are one after other some small stories which are giving us more deep meaning, that how we can understand the subject in depth. Purpose is not to just memorize stories. Normally stories stay very quickly in the memory. This is a psychological flow. So Maharishi Agastya gave him one story. So you can see Agnivesh, son of Agnivesh, Karunya. So his father Agnivesh saw that his son has come after studying. Like a student come from the university, become doctor or engineer or some highly knowledgeable person, and once a student get the degree, he or she thinks that I am now the boss. So same thing happened that Pandit Karunya, he returned back after receiving the knowledge, after getting the degree, and he stopped doing the regular pious rituals, like what we always say, abhyasa, daily practice yoga. Like say all of you mostly practice yoga, morning prayers, then you do some your pranayam, then some meditation. So these are called as the pious rituals. So when this Pandit Karunya, after receiving the degree from the university or college, he stopped performing the regular pious rituals. When his father Agnivesh saw that his son has come and looks like that he is now full of some ego and he doesn't know why he has stopped it, so he was not happy. So he told him the story of King Arishtnemi. Now this is another story. In the story, there is another story. Now King Arishtnemi was a very, very big famous king of his time, and he was not very happy with the mundane world, all the affairs, despite having so much rich wealth, and he was a like a very successful king. Then finally, what happened with Arishtnemi? See, normally kings, when they get everything, they become more greedy. During their last age, they become more greedy of wealth and all that. But something opposite happened with Arishtnemi. He just renounced the kingdom and gave all the powers to his son and came out from the kingdom and went into the jungle. Now in the jungle, very interesting things happen. Indra means the boss of all the demigods or the supreme demigod, Indra. When he saw that he has started the tapa means the fiery practice. King Arishtnemi started fiery practice to realize self-realization. So Indra sent some of his messengers, ambassadors, to offer him the heaven. And like, yeah, you are very great king and now you are welcome in the heaven. Then king asked the ambassador, what is going to happen there? So the ambassador said that you will have all the luxuries, all the comforts, and you will have no dukkha, no sorrow, no suffering, only the bliss and only the balance and only the joy and all that. And then King Arishtnemi asked him, then what? Ambassador could not reply further. Is it eternal? He said, no, it is till your karmas are good. Till then you will be enjoying the heaven. Thereafter, accordingly, you may come back on the earth to have this all affairs what are going on. So King Arishtnemi was not satisfied. He said, no, I am not interested in all your these luxuries. In some of the sect, they say that you will get 72 virgins in the heaven. So he said, no, I am not interested in all that. I want only liberation, moksha. So then ambassador went back to Indra. Then ambassador came back to Arishtnemi and guided him the path to meet Maharishi Vashisht. So now here the meeting start with Maharishi Vashisht. So what King Arishtnemi went and sitting at the lotus feet of Maharishi Vashisht. Here is a tradition. The Guru, the Rishi, the Maharishi is sitting on little higher seat, and the one who is a seeker is sitting on the floor or sitting at a lower seat, whatever is the situation. And king was humbly bowing down completely at the feet of Maharishi Vashisht and requested that I am hurt from these worldly sufferings. So please give me Tattva Jnana, the supreme knowledge through which I attain the liberation and through which thereafter I do not need to know anything more. So then Maharishi Vashisht told Arishtnemi to listen the true history of Rama very carefully. Listen this true story with full presence and full awareness. You will attain liberation. Now this was a little surprise that by listening to a story, okay, true story, how can I attain the liberation? Then before he asked like that, Arishtnemi asked Maharishi Vashisht that who is Ram? What is his form? And was Ram himself liberated or not? Very valid question. That if you will be liberated by just listening to the story, so the story which is related to a person, the person himself or herself is liberated or not? This was a very valid question asked by the king Arishtnemi. Maharishi Vashishta replied, Ram was the incarnation of Shri Hari Vishnu, and he came on the earth to establish Dharma. And Lord Vishnu had to come on the earth and experience the worldly sufferings. Now, this was very strange. So, Arishtnemi asked that he has to come to have the worldly sufferings. Then Maharishi Vashishta said that Lord Vishnu had some curses from Maharishi Bhrigu, Sanat Kumar, Vrinda, Devadatta. Because Maharishi was explaining that how the master or Shri Vishnu was trying to do something good, but some people also get affected. Like, for example, I will give you the example of Devadatta. So, Devadatta's wife was pregnant when Shri Hari Vishnu took the avatar of Narsim avatar, where his half body was of the lion and half body was of the man. So by looking at this very strange and very difficult pose or the scene or the form of a new type of creature, Devadatta wife was frightened, and she was pregnant, and she could not conceive it further. It was over. So Devadatta was a devotee of Vishnu. See the beauty. Devadatta was a great devotee of Vishnu, but when he was hurt, he gave curse to Vishnu that you will also suffer from the attachment of your own family. Your own family will also suffer like this for some time. Now this was a very strange kind of curse. So that is why it happened that Sita was in the jungle. His children were not with him. Ram's children were away. So this was one of the curse. Then Bhrigu and Vrinda, they were also having the similar kind of, they were husband-wife. And because of certain situation, they got separated. So Bhrigu gave the curse that you both husband and wife somewhere in futuristic point for some time, you both will also be separated living. Like these are the curses came even to the Lord Vishnu, the supreme head of consciousness, when they are trying to even do something good. This is what we call some karma, play of karma. Another example, simple example, some time back I was invited for the inauguration ceremony of a hospital. Now, I was invited as a chief guest, and the chief doctor of that hospital was very much delighted and told me to bless us, give us the blessing. So I was standing. I started talking in a very, very difficult situation. My dear doctor, you have put me in a very difficult position. If I tell you that let your business flourish, let your hospital be very successful, what does it mean? Means let there be more diseases or suffering or sickness in your area so that your hospital will be successful. So this was a very, very strange kind of situation, because you are on one side telling doctor that let your business be successful. Indirectly, you are inviting more diseases in the area. So this was very, very difficult. On one side, you are trying to do something good, but at the same time, we can understand the entire world, nature is on duality. So here, this was very strange that Rama was the incarnation to clear or complete the karma, whatever was the past deeds, to attain the liberation to the mankind. So this was explained to Aristonemi by Maharishi Vashisht. And then the second chapter starts about the eligibility and the powers. So next week we'll be talking about the eligibility and the higher powers. But here is a very, very little thing, that who is eligible. It is described in detail. There is a shloka on your screen. You can see aham baddho vimuktaha, means how you will be liberated from this bondage. Dialogue between Ram and Vashisht, that first you should feel that I am under some bondage, I am in some bandhana. So bandhana, if you feel the bandhana or bondage, then only you can think of liberation. I am suffering, so then only you will think of getting rid of the sufferings. This is a very simple formula. So we will be talking about this formula secret, how we can be eligible, because we all are eligible. We have the eligibility, but how? We will be trying to understand that in next week. It's a very fine way explained by Maharishi Vashisht to the King Aristonemi. So that will be one of the things. If anybody got any question, may please ask a question before we do a small experiment.
I had a question because I thought there's like 3 ways to get rid of the karma. Like 1, you don't create new things, and that you finish that one, that your guru can do it, and it didn't put in like that you start doing good things and meditate, and then you can get rid of karma. But in this part, is that the guru is getting rid of or taking some of your burden if you're just listening to the story? Is that how it fits in, or am I confused?
Very simple formula. When you are driving the car and when you follow the GPS, what happens? You reach to your destination. You are not doing anything. You just follow.
Yeah.
When we follow the path of liberation attained by the master or the guru or the teachings of the guru, we receive the liberation. We need not to create the new karma, but whatever karmas are there already in our portfolio, one after the other we start deleting or removing those burdens from our life, so that we reach to the higher karma. So before week we were talking of the 3 types of karma. Anybody remembers which were the 3 types of karma? Who remembers? Please tell.
Guruji, prarabdha karma, sanchit karma, agami karma.
Very good. So these are the 3 types of karma. We have to get liberated from these 3 types of understanding. First understand the 3 types of karma, then liberation happens.